Welcome to Stories for Sleep, a place where stories of science, nature, and the mind are told at a slow, gentle rhythm, soft enough for you to listen as you drift towards sleep. Here, we do not try to make you learn more. We simply hope to help you let go, soften, and return to the familiar sense of safety found in quiet nights. Tonight's video brings you to a world that is very close to us, yet often overlooked: botany. While humans are occupied with speed, plants continue to live patiently in their own rhythm. They grow slowly, communicate in silence, remember, through their roots, and adapt without effort or anxiety. It is precisely this endurance, order, and quiet presence that can naturally soothe the human mind. With a gentle perspective, inspired by depth psychology, Stories for Sleep invites you to listen to some of the most fascinating truths about plants. Not to remember them, but to feel them. When you realize that life can function so calmly and steadily, perhaps your own mind will allow itself to slow down as well. Lie still, breathe softly, and let these deep green stories guide you step by gentle step into sleep. When night falls, many of us lie in bed with our eyes closed while the mind remains awake. Thoughts move like wind, small but persistent. Worries linger, and an unnamed feeling makes sleep arrive more slowly than we wish. Perhaps the problem is not that you are not tired enough, but that your mind is still searching for a natural rhythm in which it can relax and feel safe. In the modern world of constant speed, we rarely remember that life on Earth functioned peacefully for hundreds of millions of years before humans appeared. And at the heart of that quiet rhythm, plants exist as some of the most patient beings of all. They do not run, they do not speak, they do not rush. They grow, breathe, communicate, remember, and adapt, all slowly, precisely, and with remarkable order. This video is a very gentle invitation to return to the world of botany, not through dry academic language, but as a whispered story before sleep. Through the lens of depth psychology, plants appear not only as biological organisms, but also as ancient symbols of life, of the unconscious, of renewal without effort. As Carl Jung suggested, nature often reflects the deepest layers of the human mind, places that require no control, only presence. In the minutes ahead, you will explore gentle and intriguing truths about plant life, how plants communicate in silence, how roots remember, how leaves respond to light and darkness, and why forests can make humans feel instinctively safe. There is no information you need to remember, no knowledge you need to fully understand. Simply listen, allow your breathing to slow, and let that deep green world lead you softly and steadily into sleep. If you are ready, let us begin this journey together, slowly, gently, and safely enough for you to rest. Part 1. The Silent World of Plants. There is a world that is always there, right in front of us, yet rarely truly seen. Not because it hides, but because it makes no sound. It does not compete for attention. It does not demand a response. This is the world of plants. As humans hurry along tree-lined streets, as our eyes skim past the familiar green of leaves, most of us unconsciously treat plants as the background of life, a quiet decoration, a fixed stage upon which more active beings appear, act. But botany begins with a very gentle reversal. What if it is precisely this stillness that forms the foundation of all movement? In modern life, stillness is often mistaken for lack of energy. Silence is seen as emptiness. Slowness is associated with inefficiency. And so plants, with their unmoving posture, with growth that unfolds over months, years, even centuries, are easily pushed to the far edges of our attention. Yet if we pause for just a breath longer, the plant world begins to reveal itself as a network in constant operation. Not loudly, not theatrically, but precisely, continuously, and with extraordinary subtlety. Plants do not sleep the way humans sleep. Roots continue to expand beneath the soil. Leaves keep adjusting the opening of their stomata. Water is still drawn upward millimeter by millimeter through woody stems by pressure differentials. Sugars, hormones, and bioelectrical signals keep moving through invisible vascular pathways. Plants are not motionless, they simply operate at a different rhythm in a different layer of time. Carl Gustav Jung once wrote, "The psyche creates reality every day. If the human mind creates its own reality each day, the plant world reminds us of something deeper. There are realities that do not need to be created. They have been operating long before consciousness ever intervened." When we listen to botany with a slower inner posture, we begin to notice plants do not compete through speed. They do not react, they adjust. Not hurriedly, not defensively, simply by continuously adapting to existing conditions. And this produces a very different feeling in the listener's mind, a sense of safety without control. In Jungian analytic therapy, deep safety does not arise from everything being clearly explained, but from the ego being allowed to step back, making space for a deeper order to operate. Plants perfectly embody that order. They do not ask why they must grow. They do not worry about final outcomes. They do not compare themselves to other plants. They simply respond to light, water, minerals, and time bit by bit. And because of this, when humans observe plants long enough, something very special happens. The nervous system begins to slow down. The brain, accustomed to processing rapid movement, sharp sounds, and dense information, suddenly encounters a form of life that does not push, does not demand response, does not create pressure to understand immediately. The plant world opens like a whisper. You do not need to do anything to be here. In the shade of trees, ancient humans found shelter not only from the sun but from chaos. Jung emphasized that the collective unconscious preserves primordial memories of life. And within those memories, plants consistently appear as symbols of endurance, protection, and continuity. The tree of life, the world tree, the tree of knowledge. This is not accidental. At a deep level, the human mind recognizes that when everything else changes, plants remain quietly holding the structure of the world so it does not collapse. This opening, therefore, does not invite you to learn about plants. It simply invites you to stand beside them for a moment. No need to memorize names. No need to understand mechanisms. Just allow your mind to touch a form of life that does not demand speed. And in that contact, you may feel something very subtle. Stillness is not absence. Silence is not emptiness. And rest is not surrender. If we stand still long enough in a forest, a very particular moment occurs. Not when we hear birds, not when we feel the wind, but when we realize that the air we are breathing is not accidental. Each molecule of oxygen quietly entering your lungs, each cool current brushing your skin, is the result of an ongoing process in leaves, a process so ancient it shaped the entire history of life on Earth. Photosynthesis makes no noise, it does not glow, it has no sound, yet it is the foundation of every breathing being. Plants do not merely exist within the environment, they create the environment. They regulate humidity through transpiration. Their roots hold soil in place. Their canopies soften surface temperatures. Earth's vast plant systems function as a planetary climate regulator, operating without switches, without supervision, without praise. This creates a gentle paradox. The beings that receive the least attention carry the greatest responsibility. Carl Jung observed that the human ego tends to exaggerate its own importance, while the unconscious, which governs most of life, remains unnoticed. At an ecological level, plants resemble the unconscious of the planet, always working, always adjusting, always maintaining balance, yet rarely acknowledged when things are stable. Only when plants disappear do humans notice the air has changed. Only when forests are cut do we feel how vulnerable the soil becomes. Only when green withdraws do we realize life is not guaranteed. And yet, in normal conditions, plants do not require recognition to fulfill their role. This gives rise to a deep sensation in the listener's mind, a feeling of being supported without being asked to respond. In Jungian psychology, the deepest sense of safety appears when the ego no longer has to stand guard, when a larger order is operating on its behalf. Plants offer exactly this feeling. They do not care whether you see them. They do not care whether you judge them beautiful or not. They do not need attention to continue living. And in a world of pressure where humans constantly must prove their worth, plants become a quiet reminder. Value does not have to be expressed to exist. An ancient tree does not need to become anything else. It does not compare itself to saplings. It does not blame itself when leaves fall. It does not fear winter. It simply responds to present conditions, and that response repeated over time becomes strength. If we look more closely, we see that plants do not resist their environment. They move with it. Trunks bend with wind. Roots weave through stone. Leaves turn toward the sun, not because they are weak, but because resisting flow always costs more energy than adapting. At a deep psychological level, this image has a powerful lullaby effect because it counters the habit of control. It does not require doing it right. It does not demand just one more effort. Plants allow all processes to unfold at their own pace. Jung wrote, "In all chaos, there is a cosmos, in all disorder, a secret order." From this view, plants do not represent natural chaos, but an order without command. An order with no center of authority, no directives, only gentle response to reality. And when humans enter that space, whether in an actual forest or through imagination before sleep, the nervous system relearns something very old. Not everything must be controlled to be safe. Plants kept this planet stable for hundreds of millions of years before humans appeared, and they will continue to do so even when no one is watching. When this idea slowly settles into the mind, it creates a rare sensation, a letting go without fear. You do not need to guard the world. You do not need to make sure everything is okay before resting. Systems far larger than you are operating steadily, quietly, and reliably. And like plants at night, when light withdraws but life does not stop, you too may allow yourself to shift into a different rhythm. Not shutting down, just changing pace. There is a deep reason humans often feel calmer near plants. Not because they are beautiful, not because they are green, but because the rhythm of plant life does not conflict with the human nervous system. Our brains, though accustomed to screens, sound, and speed, still carry a very ancient part one that evolved among trees beneath canopies within steady cycles of day and night. That part of the mind was not designed to process constant change. It needs repetition, rhythm, stable signals that say, everything is still safe. Plants provide exactly that. No plant grows overnight. No flower rushes to bloom on schedule. No leaf blames itself for falling when seasons change. All plant movement occurs below the threshold that triggers nervous system stress. In Jungian psychology, excessive speed is often seen as a sign of an ego trying to control more than necessary. When the ego tightens, the unconscious is pushed deeper, and unresolved conflicts accumulate, often surfacing most strongly at night, when the body wants to rest, but the mind refuses to stop. That is when humans toss and turn. Not because they are insufficiently tired, but because they have not been allowed to let go. Plants do not teach us how to sleep. They simply exist at a pace slow enough for the nervous system to imitate. When you look at a tree standing still, the brain does not need to predict what will happen next. There is no sudden threat, no demand for reaction. And so the vigilant center of the brain begins to quiet. That alone, a stable signal, is enough for the body to understand. For now, you do not need to do anything. Jung emphasized that healing does not occur through force, but through returning to harmony with the psyche's natural rhythm. And that rhythm is never rushed. Plants exist as a living reminder. Life does not need to constantly move forward to have value. Sometimes simply continuing to be is enough. There is an intriguing phenomenon. When humans are surrounded by greenery, heart rate tends to slow. Breathing deepens without conscious effort. Psychological stress decreases, even without positive thinking. Not because plants do something to us, but because they do not ask anything from us. In the collective unconscious, plants represent a non-judging form of life. They do not care whether you succeed or fail. They do not evaluate your performance. They simply remain stable, enduring, unchanged. And when the human mind spends enough time with such presence, a very ancient mechanism activates. The ego is allowed to rest. No guarding, no planning, no processing. At a deep level, sleep is not an action, it is a permission. Just as plants do not try to grow, they respond to favorable conditions. When light fades, they change rhythm. When temperature shifts, they adjust. No resistance, no force. And this is the gentle lesson Botany offers before sleep. You do not need to force yourself to sleep. You only need to allow your inner rhythm to slow. You do not need to understand the plant world. You do not need to remember species names. You do not need to master biological mechanisms. Simply allow images of these quiet beings to exist in your mind. Trees standing still in the night leaves, releasing oxygen, unseen roots, patiently spreading in darkness. There are no goals there, no deadlines, no urgency, only a slow living order that has functioned long before humans learned to worry. And within that order, you too are allowed to slow down. No fixing, no becoming better tonight. Just remain like a tree resting in darkness, still alive, still safe, and needing nothing more. Part 3. Time living within plants. Humans often experience time as a hurried current. The hands of the clock move forward. Calendars turn page by page. Deadlines, plans, memories one after another without pause. But when we enter the world of plants, time no longer flows in the same way. It does not rush, it settles. Plants do not live in linear time as humans do. They do not count days. They do not count years. They do not remember the past through stories. They become time. A tree standing still in the forest is not only a living organism, but a repository of memory. Within each growth ring, those silent concentric circles, lies the history of rain and drought, of warm seasons and cold ones, of gentle years and harsh years. No writing is required. No narration is needed. Time is recorded in the thickness of the wood, in the color of each ring. When scientists cut across the trunk of an ancient tree, they do not merely see the tree's age. They see the climatic history of an entire region. A dry year leaves behind a thin ring. A year of abundant rain leaves a thicker one. A tree does not remember in the psychological sense, but it inscribes. Carl Gustav Jung once suggested that memory does not exist only in consciousness, but is also preserved in deeper layers of being. If humans carry collective memory, plants carry the memory of the earth. They do not tell that memory. They simply stand there as silent witnesses, not urging, not explaining, only being present. And that presence offers humans something very particular, a loosening from their own hurried sense of time. When you stand before an ancient tree, something within you naturally slows. Breathing softens. Thoughts widen. Not because you understand what the tree is saying, but because your nervous system recognizes here there is no need to hurry. Plants do not race against time. They live with time. For a tree, time is not an enemy, but an environment, like water to fish or air to birds. Trees do not resist the passing years. They allow years to pass through them. In Jungian psychology, this represents a form of existence, rare in modern humans' existence, not driven by the ego. Humans often live as if time is working against them. Plants do not. They do not ask, am I enough? Am I too slow? Am I being left behind? They simply continue to grow according to soil, water, and light. In this rhythm, there is no early or late, only timely. If the tree trunk is an open chronicle, then soil, wood, and coal are vaults of time. Plants do not only record time on their surface, they store it. Each green leaf, while absorbing sunlight, is quietly performing a task, drawing carbon from the air and locking it into the structure of life. When leaves fall, when trunks decay, when forests transform over long cycles, that carbon does not disappear. It remains in decomposing wood, in forest soil, in coal, formed over millions of years. The black coal humans extract today was once ancient forest, once summer sunlight gathered and held by plants. Plants thus become the librarians of climate. No ledgers, no symbols. By simply living, they regulate the atmosphere, slow warming, and give Earth a longer breath. Human life is accustomed to immediate processing. Every problem must be solved quickly. Every emotion answered at once. Plants do not function this way. They resolve slowly, and therefore deeply. A root weaving through stone does not seek the fastest path, but the most enduring one. A forest recovering from fire does not rush to become what it was, but rebuilds layer by layer: soil, fungi, grasses, shrubs, then trees. In Jungian psychology, there is a crucial distinction between the time of consciousness and the time of the unconscious. Consciousness wants quick results. The unconscious works slowly. Plants, in this sense, live close to the rhythm of the unconscious. They do not force healing. They do not rush transformation. They allow processes to ferment. And this carries a very gentle, lullaby-like message. You do not need to resolve everything right now. Some emotions require time. Some answers appear only when you stop searching. Just as carbon is locked in wood, many of your experiences are stored in deeper layers of the psyche, not needing names, not needing analysis. They are there safely preserved. Plants are not afraid of long time. They are not afraid to wait. A seed may lie dormant in dry soil for decades, even centuries, without panic, without fear of missing out. It waits for the right conditions. And when the moment comes, it awakens as if it had never slept. Within that patience is a profound trust that the world eventually will make space for life to continue. Some beings do not only store time, they sleep with time. Seeds are the clearest example. They can rest in dry soil, in ice, in deserts, in ancient vessels or buried layers of earth for tens, even thousands of years. No movement, no growth, no visible life, yet they are not dead. They exist in a very special state, pure potential. In science, this is called dormancy. In the language of the psyche, it is the moment when a part of you does not yet need to become anything. Carl Jung emphasized that not all psychological processes occur on the surface. Some of the most important ones unfold when we do not interfere, when we allow the unconscious to work. A seed does not try to sprout. It does not force development. It does not compare itself to others. It simply remains still until moisture, temperature, and light allow life to continue. This contrasts sharply with modern human rhythm, where pauses are labeled waste and slowness mistaken for failure. Plants remind us gently. Sleeping is also a way of living. Rest is not a suspension of value. It is silent preparation. A long sleeping seed is not weak. It trusts the world will return for it. When you are tired, when answers are not yet ready, when you do not know the next step, you do not need to force yourself to sprout. You may be in a phase where the psyche needs cover, just as a seed needs the darkness of soil. In Jungian analysis, darkness is not opposed to life. It is the womb of transformation. Plants understood this long before humans named it. They allow themselves to sleep when needed, to wait until enough, and to awaken only when effort is no longer required. And perhaps the gentlest thing plants teach us tonight is this: you do not need to become a better version of yourself before sleep. You do not need to resolve everything to rest. You do not need to prove that you are making progress. You only need to be still, like a seed sleeping deep in the earth, safe held and already complete even before it sprouts. Part 4. Plants as architects of the planet. When humans think about what shapes the Earth, they often think of volcanoes, asteroid impacts, tectonic plates, forces that are large, powerful, and loud. Yet most of the planet we recognize, the air you breathe, the ground you stand on, the water you drink, the climate you feel, has been shaped by beings that make almost no sound. Plants. They do not merely live within the environment. They create the environment. A forest is not just a collection of trees. It is a regulating system. Each canopy filters light. Each trunk moderates wind. Each forest layer controls temperature and humidity. During the day, forests cool the air through shade and transpiration. At night, they retain warmth by slowing heat loss. Temperature differences soften like a healthy body, maintaining steady breathing. Plants do not fight climate. They reduce its extremes. On a larger scale, forests influence rainfall patterns, cloud cycles, and river systems. When a forest is cut, what is lost is not only trees, but soil's ability to hold water, the slowing of flow, the patience of an ecosystem. Roots, rarely seen, do most of the work. They weave through soil, embrace stone, hold each grain in place. Without roots, soil is loose matter. With roots, it becomes a place where life can stay. Each millimeter of fertile soil is built slowly from fallen leaves, microorganisms, fungi, and decomposing roots. A few centimeters of topsoil may take hundreds of years to form. Plants do not build as humans do. They allow processes to unfold. Here we touch something deeply aligned with Carl Jung's psychology. Jung wrote, "Nature is not matter only. She is also spirit. Nature is not just substance. It is spirit moving through form." Plants in this sense are not merely biological organisms. They are organizing principles of the planet. They produce oxygen not as a moral act, but as the inevitable result of living true to structure. Each leaf is a silent chemical factory. Every day, trillions of photosynthetic reactions occur without witnesses. No applause, no announcements, no achievements, only oxygen, which you are breathing right now without thinking. Without plants, Earth's atmosphere would not exist as it does. Complex animal life would not persist. Plants are not at the center of the human story, but humans exist inside the story of plants. And this has meaning beyond ecology, it is psychological. Within your inner life, there are parts like plants. They do not react quickly. They do not demand attention. They do not speak when things are stable, yet they prevent collapse. Your quiet habits, steady rhythms, unspoken connections, values that do not need proof, these are the forests within you. If you focus only on loud thoughts and dramatic emotions, you may overlook what keeps your inner world stable. Plants teach us this: the greatest strength does not always feel like strength. It may appear as unnoticed endurance. From above, forests look like green carpets. But if we listen long enough, we realize forests do more than cover the planet, they remember for it. Each forest is a form of ecological memory. Not memory in words, not in images, but in structure, rhythm, and slow response. A long drought leaves its mark in growth rings. A wildfire alters species composition for generations. A river changing course quietly reshapes downstream forests. No records, no diaries, yet nothing is forgotten. Forests do not react immediately. They adjust gradually. Some changes appear only after decades. Some consequences reveal themselves after a century. In the plant world, time is not something to conquer. It is something to live with. This explains why old-growth forests are more stable than plantations. Not because they are stronger, but because they remember more. They remember droughts, floods, storms, insects, disease. That memory is stored not in brains, but in networks. Roots connect to fungi. Fungi connect multiple trees. Nutrients, warnings, even stress signals travel underground. A forest is not a collection of individuals. It is a system that remembers. When one tree suffers disease, others may increase defenses. When soil nutrients decline, root structures change. No command center, no leader, only continuous response. This closely mirrors how the human unconscious functions. You do not remember everything consciously, but your body remembers. Heart rate remembers old stress. Breath remembers safety. Muscles remember threat. Like forests, the unconscious does not tell stories. It shapes behavior. When a part of you is wounded, other parts adapt. No thinking required. No decision-making. Plants teach us this. The deepest memory lives where there are no words. A forest after fire does not return to what it was, but it has not failed. It transitions, still alive, still stable in a new form. This matters deeply for those who are tired. If you feel you are not who you used to be, it does not mean you are broken. You may simply be restructuring. Forests do not mourn their past forms. They continue their work, holding soil, water, life. You can do the same. You do not need to return to who you were, only to be gentle enough to continue existing. When we think about Earth, we often fear it is fragile. But the truth is, the planet has survived changes far greater than we imagine. And what allowed survival was not drama, but slow systems. Forests, soil, roots, time. There is something ancient and strange. Simply standing near trees helps many people breathe easier. Not because they think more positively, not because they understand biology, but because the body recognizes something familiar. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans rarely lived apart from plants. Forests were not scenery, they were original habitat. So when you enter a space with trees, the nervous system does not need to analyze. It whispers, "This used to be safe." Plants create safety not through words, but through biological conditions. Cooler air, stable humidity, filtered sound, softened light. Forests are not silent, but they are not threatening. No sudden noises, no harsh light, no rapid changes. Everything in a forest is shaped without intention by time to avoid overwhelming living beings. That is why many people sleep more easily to forest sounds, gentle wind leaves touching steady insects. No climax, no emphasis, only background rhythm. And the nervous system loves background rhythm. It does not always need stimulation. It needs predictability. Forests allow prediction. Wind will come and go. Sounds will repeat. No sudden danger. In the body's language, this signals permission to relax vigilance. Like being near someone who demands nothing, judges nothing, requires no response. Plants do not watch you. They do not evaluate you. They do not need you to improve. They simply remain and remain long enough. This matters for sleep. Insomnia is not caused by lack of tiredness, but by lack of safety. You may lie still, but if tension remains inside, sleep will not come. Forests and plants in general teach a wordless lesson. Safety does not come from control. It comes from stable presence. Plants do not monitor you. They do not ask how your day was. They do not need you to understand them. They stay where they are, doing what they do day after day, and that is enough. When we see an old tree, the brain does not think danger. It thinks stability, deep roots, solid trunk, sheltering canopy, an archetypal image of protection. And so in the unconscious, trees become symbols of places where one can stop. Not places to achieve, but places to rest. If tonight you find sleep difficult, you do not need complex imagery. Simply imagine a dark forest, not frightening, just cool enough, deep enough, slow enough. No one is watching you. No one needs your response. Every being is moving at its own rhythm. And you too are allowed to have yours. Part 5. Relationships and cooperation. No tree stands alone. When we look at a tree standing quietly in an open field, it is easy to believe that it exists on its own. A single trunk, a canopy of leaves, a form seemingly separate from the world around it. But that is only what the eye can see. Beneath the ground, the reality is entirely different. There is no tree that is truly alone. Under the soil that appears silent lies a complex living network, spreading, overlapping, interwoven, and constantly active even while we sleep. Roots are not only for absorbing water, they are meeting places. Their roots touch fungi. Fungi touch bacteria. Bacteria touch minerals. Together, they form a subtle exchange system that humans have only begun to understand in recent decades. Scientists call it the mycorrhizal network. In everyday language, it is an underground internet. Through this network, trees do not only receive, they give. A healthy tree can transfer sugars to a young tree lacking light. A tree under insect attack can send warning signals, allowing nearby trees to activate defenses. An old forest can nourish a young one without light or recognition. There are no commands, no control center, no leader. Only quiet cooperation, shaped through millions of years of trial, error, and adaptation. What is remarkable is this plant life does not rely on extreme competition, but on relational balance. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria do not live for themselves alone. They live within roots. In return, the plant provides carbon. Fungi do not photosynthesize. They need sugars from trees. In return, they expand the root system, allowing access to water and minerals far beyond reach. There is no good or bad, no sacrifice or repayment, only appropriate exchange. And this is what makes the plant world resilient. In nature, a being that is too independent rarely lasts long. Life is not designed for complete isolation, but for just enough connection. Here we touch something deeper, not only biological but psychological. Carl Jung observed that humans do not exist as isolated egos, but always within the web of the collective unconscious, just like trees. An ego may appear separate, but beneath lie countless connections, memories, archetypal images, inherited beliefs, emotions, not entirely one's own. We are more like trees than we realize. Much of modern human stress comes from the illusion I must stand entirely on my own. But nature does not work that way. Trees are not ashamed to need fungi. Fungi are not weak for needing trees. Bacteria are not lesser because they are small. Each being holds a role that is just enough. In the forest, no one must prove their worth. This brings a gentle feeling to someone preparing for sleep. Because if life exists through connection, you do not need to tense yourself into isolation. You do not need to be self-sufficient in every moment. You are allowed to lean into the shared rhythm, allowed to be tired, allowed to let go. Like a tree at night, it does not photosynthesize. It does not grow taller. It does not prove anything. Yet it does not die, because around it, the network continues to work. Life continues to support it, even as it rests. If you are listening to these words at night, remember this. You do not need to hold everything alone. No need to solve. No need to fully understand. No need to conclude. Simply remain within the shared rhythm, like a tree in a forest, connected to other roots, other beings, and to the deeper parts of yourself, quietly working on behalf of consciousness. Part 6. Surviving extreme conditions. If the daytime of the plant world is patience, then extreme conditions are where their adaptive nature becomes most visible. Not through strength, not through speed, but through subtle adjustment. Plants do not choose easy places to live. They appear where life seems unlikely. Arid deserts, long frozen regions, high mountains lacking oxygen, salt marshes, heavy metal soils, lands of frequent floods or wildfires. There they do not fight the environment, they listen to it. In deserts, plants do not cling to water in the way humans imagine. They shrink leaves, turn leaves into spines, store moisture in their stems, and open their stomata only at night when the world is cooler and evaporation is lower. In freezing regions, some plants allow their cells to freeze. They do not resist. They do not panic. They simply rearrange their inner structure so ice crystals do not destroy life. And when spring arrives, they awaken. Without painful memory, without trauma, they simply continue living. Some plants grow in salty soils where salt kills most other organisms. They do not violently expel salt. They isolate it in specific cells or integrate it into internal balance. They do not remove difficulty. They restructure themselves. Even fire, often seen by humans as destruction, is for many plants a signal of renewal. Some seeds germinate only after exposure to wildfire heat. Some forests need fire to refresh soil, release minerals, and make space for new generations. In nature, disaster is not always an ending. Sometimes it is a phase shift. Here we touch a very deep message, and one deeply needed before sleep. Plants do not try to be strong in a tense way. They do not cling to old forms at all costs. They are flexible. Carl Jung noted that human suffering often arises not from weakness, but from clinging to an image of oneself that no longer fits. Plants do not get trapped in such images. When conditions change, they change rhythm, change form, change strategy. But they do not lose their living essence. This differs from how humans often face hardship, enduring, resisting, trying to remain unchanged even when it hurts. Plants teach a quiet lesson. Adaptation is not surrender. It is intelligence. It is the understanding that life does not need to prove anything, only to continue. If you are listening at night and feel that you are living in an extreme condition of your own pressure, fatigue, emotional overload, or simply no energy left to try, plants will not tell you to be stronger. They will not demand immediate change. They only whisper through their existence that you do not need force to move through this. You only need a different rhythm, a slower one, a softer shape, a way of being with less resistance. Like a tree in winter, no leaves, no blossoms, yet not dead, because inside life is still holding its rhythm. A gentle transition. From this ability to adapt under harsh conditions, we move toward part 7, where plants not only survive, but directly influence human emotions, the nervous system, and the capacity for rest. For now, you are allowed not to be strong, not to resolve anything, simply to exist like a tree waiting for its season. And that is enough. Part 7. Slow movement and biological decision-making. In the world of plants, there is no running, no startled reflex, no instant decision. But this does not mean there are no decisions. Plants move, they simply move in ways the human eye rarely perceives. They do not hurry. They do not react instantly. They choose timing. And that slowness is a sign of a different intelligence, the intelligence of long-term calculation. Many plants turn their leaves or flowers with the movement of the sun, not because they love light, but because light is information. Each morning, each afternoon, the angle of sunlight tells plants the time of day, the season of the year, their position in space. Plants do not look at the sun, they read it. The slow movement of leaves results from millions of tiny chemical reactions, steady, silent, without attention. A decision is made, not in a moment, but through a process. When night falls, many plants fold their leaves, not because they are cold, not because they fear darkness, but because it is time to rest. Plants have their own biological rhythms, regulated by light, temperature, and day-night cycles. They need no alarm clocks, no reminders, no effort to sleep enough. When conditions fit, they rest. When conditions change, they awaken. No judgment, no effort, no self-blame. A very gentle lesson for humans before sleep. Sleep does not come from force. It comes from synchronization. If leaves face the sky, roots are the part of the plant living entirely in darkness. But roots are not blind. They sense moisture, gravity, pressure, minerals, the presence of other roots. Roots choose paths not with maps, but with continuous sensation. They do not dig randomly. They avoid competition when needed. They find water using the least energy possible. A biological decision is made without thought, only by listening to the environment. Light is not only bright or dark, it has color. Plants know this. They sense ratios of red, blue, and far red light to decide whether to grow taller, whether they are shaded, whether to flower or continue growing. Plants do not see color like humans, but they understand light biologically. Each growth decision is a calculation between risk and benefit, between present and future. No brain, yet calculation exists. Carl Jung observed that consciousness is only a small part of psychological life. Most human decisions are made beneath awareness. Plants remind us of this. They live entirely within biological unconsciousness, where there is no question, what should I do? Only the answer, what fits now? No anxiety, no over-analysis, no obsession with choosing wrong, only continuous response and gentle adjustment. In the human world, slowness is often mistaken for weakness, for falling behind, for inefficiency. But in the plant world, slowness is a survival strategy. Fast decisions may save short-term. Slow decisions sustain life long-term. Plants do not need to be immediately right. They only need to avoid being wrong for too long. A quiet lesson for minds exhausted by too many choices, too much thinking and self-criticism for not being fast enough. If you are listening now, your mind may still be moving quickly. Thoughts, worries, plans. Plants will not tell you to stop immediately. They only suggest you may slow a little. No need to decide now. No need to understand everything. No need to choose correctly in this moment. Like plants, you can allow body and mind to self-adjust. From these slow biological decisions, we will move into part 8. Where plants teach humans about rest, recovery, and healing without willpower. For now, you do not need to do anything. Simply remain still, like a leaf slowly folding as night arrives, and let that slow rhythm guide you. Part 8. Flowers, Seeds, and Reproductive Strategy. In the plant world, reproduction is not a hurried act. It does not arise from desire. It is not pushed by short-term time pressure. For plants, reproduction is a long-term strategy, an art of waiting, observing, and acting only when probability leans toward life. Flowers and seeds, therefore, are not merely the most beautiful parts of a plant. They are the most calculated parts. A flower does not bloom randomly. It does not bloom from inspiration. A flower blooms when temperature is sufficiently stable. Light reaches a necessary threshold. Day length is appropriate. Internal hormonal systems are aligned. Some flowers bloom only at night. Some open for just a few hours before closing. Some bloom all at once, then disappear as if they had never existed. Not because flowers are fragile, but because timing matters more than duration. In plant biology, one correct moment is worth more than weeks of trying at the wrong time. Flowers do not have good or bad intentions. They are simply effective. Vivid colors, enticing scents, shapes mimicking female insects, even warmth slightly higher than the surrounding air. None of this is decoration. It is attraction. Insects believe they are seeking nectar. Flowers know they are transferring pollen. There is no deception in the moral sense, only biological optimization. A deep lesson for humans who tend to label right and wrong. Life does not argue ethics, it finds ways to continue. Some flowers bloom precisely when insects are active. Not early, not late. Some plants flower only after wildfires. Only when ash covers the soil. Only when competition has been cleared. Flowers do not fight harsh conditions. They wait for them to pass. Reproduction in this sense is not a reaction, but the outcome of patience. If flowers are moments, then seeds are compressed time. A seed can sleep for years, sleep for decades, sleep for centuries. Inside it, life does not disappear. It merely pauses. No growth, no consumption, no panic. Seeds teach a concept that humans often struggle to accept. Not yet does not mean failure. Some seeds explode from their fruit, ride the wind, drift thousands of kilometers across the sea, cling to animal fur, sink deep into mud. The parent plant cannot control where the seed will land, and it accepts this. There is no detailed plan, no guarantee. Only this: I have done my part. The rest is entrusted to the world. One gentle truth in plant biology is this: plants do not reproduce at all costs. If conditions are unsuitable, they wait. If risk is too high, they delay. If the environment is not ready, they sleep. There is no pressure to keep going, only attentiveness to reality. Carl Jung once said that the most important processes in psychological life do not occur in consciousness. Flowers and seeds are biological images of that truth. Not every idea needs to bloom immediately. Not every potential needs to manifest at once. Not every version of you needs to appear now. Some parts of you are seeds, and that is not wrong. If tonight you feel slow, not ready, not blooming, plants will not tell you to try harder. They only whisper you are sleeping at the right time. We will go deeper into the gentle, soft bet strategies of seeds where life does not choose certainty but possibility. For now, you do not need to understand more. Simply let these images settle. Like a small seed, lying still in warm soil, waiting for the right moment. If humans often seek certainty, plants choose possibility. A tree does not place one single seed in one single location with a perfect plan. It scatters many seeds in many directions and lets the world decide the rest. This is not recklessness. It is evolutionary wisdom. In biology, this is called risk-spreading strategy. But listened to slowly, gently, it can be called a soft trust in life. A plant does not know whether rain will come next year, whether soil will erode, whether another species will take its place. So it does not choose one future. It opens many possibilities. This may sound sad, but in the plant world, it is not tragedy. Not every seed needs to become a tree. Not every potential needs to be fulfilled. Some seeds are eaten, decompose, are buried too deeply, are washed away, and life accepts this. No regret, no resentment, because reproduction is not the story of individuals, but the story of flow. Here we touch an idea very close to Jung. Jung emphasized that not every impulse needs to be lived out. Some possibilities must remain in the unconscious to protect the whole psyche. Likewise in nature, seeds that do not germinate at the wrong time protect ecosystems from overload. Not every season explodes with life-giving soil time to recover. Sometimes, not developing is how life cares for itself. A seed does not sprout just because it can. It asks many questions before deciding. Moisture, temperature, light, soil chemistry, signs of competition. If the answers are not safe enough, it continues to sleep, without anxiety, without impatience, sleeping as if time were not an enemy. In human life, sleep is often seen as waste, pause, inefficiency. But in plants, sleep is a survival decision. Sleeping to avoid harsh seasons. Sleeping to wait for favorable conditions. Sleeping to conserve energy. Sleep here is the intelligence of conservation. Perhaps right now you are in a state like a seed, not moving forward, not clear, not blooming, and this makes you doubt yourself. Plants would not call this failure. They would call it waiting for the right conditions. In Jungian psychology, the unconscious does not operate on the schedule of consciousness. It has seasons of accumulation, seasons of sleep, seasons of emergence. Forcing something to appear before it is ready can harm the whole, just like forcing a seed to sprout in winter. If you feel that you haven't done anything, remember this: some seeds have waited hundreds of years and still lived. No applause, no certification, no recognition, yet life remains. We will move deeper into the brief explosive moments of flowers and seeds, when after long silence, life needs only a small signal to begin again. For now, you do not need to follow further. Let these images slowly dissolve into sleep, like a seed that chooses to sleep a little longer and knows that this is completely fine. After all the years of waiting, after the hard outer shell, after long darkness in the soil, what wakes a seed sometimes is only a very small signal, a little moisture, a beam of light through the canopy, a slight shift in temperature, not a command, not force, just a timely whisper. When a flower blooms, it does not do so to be seen. Many flowers bloom at night. Some bloom for only a few hours. Some bloom with no human witness. A flower does not need an audience. It blooms because it is time. In evolution, a flower does not need to bloom long. It only needs to bloom at the precise moment when insects are present, wind is right, humidity is sufficient, risk is lowest. Life does not extend opportunity. It chooses timing. And when its work is done, the flower fades quietly. No regret, no clinging. Some seeds travel very far, fall where the parent plant never reaches, enter the ocean, cling to animal fur, are blown away from home. They do not know where they will land, and this does not frighten them, because in the plant world, departure is part of love. Carl Jung wrote that psychological maturity does not come from holding on to everything, but from the ability to let the old fall away. Seeds understand this instinctively. They leave the flower, leave the parent plant, leave safety, no resistance, no drama. They simply fall. In human language, falling often means loss, but in biology, falling is the beginning. Falling into soil, falling into water, falling into darkness. This is how life finds a new place to rest. Perhaps you are in a phase where everything within you is falling. Plans falling, beliefs falling, energy falling. But seen through the rhythm of plants, this may not be collapse. You may simply be leaving the flower to become the seed. A seed carries no map, no 5-year plan, no clear destination. It carries only its structure, its potential, and a quiet trust that the world is wide enough to offer a place to rest. And here, we can stop. No need to know whether the seed will sprout. No need to follow what happens next. Because, as in nature, not every story needs to be witnessed to the end. If tonight you feel as though you are falling, let your body fall into the bed like a seed falling into soft soil. No need to understand, no need to orient. Just allow yourself to lie still. In the next part, we will move deeper still, where plant intelligence without a brain meets the human unconscious. For now, let sleep arrive like light rain. No announcement, no reason required. Part 9. Plant chemistry, medicine, poison, and scent. When humans think of strength, we often imagine muscles, claws, fast and forceful movement. But plants, beings that stand still, chose another path. They do not run, they do not strike, they do not chase. They formulate. Long before laboratories existed, before test tubes and formulas, plants were quietly synthesizing hundreds of thousands of compounds. Not to impress, not to dominate, only to survive. Each leaf is a small chemical workshop, each root a slow reaction chamber, and every reaction has a purpose. When a plant produces toxins, it does not want to kill. It simply wants to be left alone. Bitter compounds, numbing agents, digestive disruptors, mild hallucinogens, all are chemical warnings. Do not eat me, do not chew me, do not return. No hatred, only boundaries. Carl Jung emphasized that a healthy mind is not always gentle, but one that knows how to set boundaries. Plants do this perfectly. No shouting, no violent resistance, only internal chemical change. A deep lesson for those who believe they must tense themselves to protect themselves. The most remarkable thing about plant chemistry is this: there is no absolute boundary between medicine and poison. Only dosage, only context, only method. Morphine relieves pain, causes addiction. Digitalis supports the heart, stops the heart. Atropine medicine, toxin. Caffeine, alertness, anxiety. Same molecule, different contact. Plants do not operate on morality. They operate on balance. No absolute bad, no eternal good. Only enough, too much, too little. And life exists in between. Not all compounds are defensive. Many are invitations. Flower scents, essential oils, leaf aromas, tree resins. Scent does not touch, does not seize, does not force. It simply exists and waits for response. When you smell plants, your brain does not analyze. It remembers. Scent travels directly to deep memory centers, without logic, without language. Jung called this the shortest path from the outer world to the personal unconscious. That is why a very faint scent can calm you without explanation. A plant guarantees nothing. It does not say, "I will heal you." It only offers a possibility, and the human body decides the rest. No force, no manipulation, no false promises. For Jung, healing is not removing symptoms, but restoring dialogue between parts of the psyche. Plants do exactly this. They do not intervene harshly. They do not control. They support rhythm. Plant compounds are created slowly, evenly, seasonally, in response to light, in response to environmental stress. There is no instant reaction, and therefore rarely shock. Perhaps you are trying to heal yourself too quickly, taking too many things, thinking too many solutions, forcing yourself to be okay immediately. Plants do not do this. They allow the process to move at the pace of the earth. Between medicine and poison is a very small step. Between care and control is the same. Plants remind us that wisdom is not found in extremes, but in subtlety. At the deepest level, plant chemistry ceases to be knowledge. It becomes a feeling that the world is not as chaotic as we think. It is simply complex in a very ordered way. If tonight you find yourself between medicine and poison, fatigue and alertness, letting go and holding on, remember only the right dose. One slow breath, one softened thought, one gentle release. In the next part, we will go even deeper, where plants are not just chemistry, but intelligence without a brain. For now, let the imagined scent of the night forest remain around you. No need to understand, just breathe. Sleep is arriving very slowly. Part 10. Plants and Human History. When humans tell their own history, we usually begin with kings, with wars, with inventions, with treaties. But if we listen more carefully, beneath all those loud stories, there is always a very quiet foundation: plants. They do not sit on thrones. They do not sign documents. They do not speak before crowds. Yet they are there, always there. Before cities existed, humans needed stable food. And food did not come from metal, not from ideas, but from plants. Wheat, rice, maize, millet, potatoes, small seeds that forced humans to stop, to settle, to build villages and then cities. Civilization did not begin with ambition. It began with a plant that could be grown again. One season of sowing, one season of waiting, one season of harvest. Plants compelled humans to learn patience. You cannot force a seed to sprout faster. You cannot command the rain. You cannot demand more nourishment from the soil without paying a price. The agricultural calendar was the first calendar humans were forced to respect. But history is not only nourishment. There were times when overdependence on a single plant led to catastrophe. One variety of potato, one fungal disease, one famine. Millions died not because of war, but because of biological imbalance. Plants do not betray, but they do not guarantee. Carl Jung called this a pattern of the collective unconscious. Humans tend to place their entire survival into a single structure and then believe it will remain stable forever. Plants teach the opposite lesson. Diversity is safety. When humans expanded, they carried with them seeds, crops, valuable plant species. Trade routes did not only move gold, they moved plants, spices, sugar, tea, coffee, cotton. Things that grow from soil shaped the map of the world. Wars rarely begin over abstract ideas. More often they begin over arable land, crops, plant resources. Plants became reasons for possession, extraction, colonization. Not because plants wanted this, but because humans saw plants as property, not as living beings. Plants were not only food, they became paper for knowledge, wood for shelter, fiber for clothing, fuel for fire, medicine for illness. You live in a world woven from plants. even when you forget it. In Jungian psychology, there is an important concept: the ground, what we rarely notice. But if it disappears, everything collapses. Plants are that ground of human history. No glory, no fame, yet irreplaceable. The more modern humans become, the more they forget the role of plants. We speak of technology, but forget that all technology requires raw material. We speak of progress, but forget that without plants there is no air to breathe. This forgetting is not malice, it is disconnection. Most striking of all, plants hold no grudges. They do not retaliate. They do not demand recognition. They respond through ecosystems. Forests disappear, climate shifts. Soil is exhausted, civilizations decline. No punishment, only consequence. Seen through the lens of plants, history becomes quieter. It turns into a cycle of trial, error, learning, forgetting, repeating. Plants are always there, waiting for humans to learn more slowly, to see more deeply. At this point, you do not need to remember plant names. You do not need dates. Just feel this. You are not carrying the entire history of humanity. You are simply breathing in a world built long before you and continuing after you. Plants are not in a hurry. History does not need you to hurry. Civilizations come and go. Plants grow when conditions allow. In the next part, we will return from collective history to personal experience, where plants are no longer civilization but breath. For now, let history be set down. Tonight, you do not need to carry the past. You only need to sleep. Part 11. Plants as material and technology. When we speak of technology, we often imagine cold metal circuits, blue light artificial structures separated from nature. But if we listen more carefully, if we slow down just a little, we may notice something very gentle. Humanity's future is returning to plants, not as regression, but as a completed circle. For centuries, wood was seen as a temporary material, less durable, flammable, not modern enough. Today, humans are beginning to understand again. Wood is not merely a material. It is a living system tested by time. Wood is light. Wood is flexible. Wood insulates naturally. Wood absorbs carbon instead of emitting it. Tall wooden buildings are not nostalgia. They are upgraded biological intelligence. Carl Jung emphasized that development is a process of integration, not erasure. In this context, plants represent a deep archetype, the archetype of a safe foundation. When humans return to wood, it is not because of scarcity, but because the collective unconscious is seeking a sense of being supported. Plants are no longer used only in raw form. Bamboo fibers, flax fibers, wood fibers, cellulose, all combined with modern technology to create materials lighter than steel, stronger than plastic, and less harmful to the earth. Here, plants do not oppose technology. They guide it. There is a quiet paradox. Plants, the most exploited beings, are now being used to restore what humans have damaged. Plants absorb heavy metals. Plants clean polluted soil. Plants stabilize broken ecosystems. No resistance, no judgment, only silent rebalancing. In Jungian psychology, healing does not come from force but from creating conditions. Plants do the same. They do not fight toxic soil. They change conditions so life can return. A gentle lesson for tired minds. Not everything needs direct fixing. Sometimes it is enough to create the right environment. As climate changes, humans are realizing that forcing nature no longer works. Instead, modern botany turns toward drought-resistant plants, heat-tolerant plants, low-water plants, self-protecting plants, not through rigid control but through biological cooperation. Plants do not cling to one form. They bend with wind. They reduce water use in drought. They wait when conditions are not ready. In technology, this is a new and necessary philosophy. Flexibility is more sustainable than rigidity. Botany is not a science of the past. It is the science of future materials, food security, ecological restoration, climate adaptation. In silence, botany is rewriting how humans exist. Symbolically, plants represent the self whole, connected, rooted, yet flexible. Humanity's return to plants reveals something profound. The collective unconscious is seeking maturity, no longer conquering nature, but living with it. Here you do not need to understand technology. You do not need to remember terminology. Just feel this: the world is not entirely going the wrong way. There are slow, steady currents quietly restoring balance. Plants are not in a hurry. The best technology learns not to hurry either. And you too do not need to hurry. In the next part, we will leave the distant future and return to your personal experience, where plants are no longer materials or technology, but a rhythm you can borrow for tonight. For now, let these ideas settle like falling leaves. You do not need to carry them into sleep. Just breathe. Part 12. The world continues, while you rest as the day closes. A familiar question often arises in the human mind. If I stop, will everything collapse? Carl Jung recognized that the deepest fear in humans is not exhaustion, but letting go. The fear that without control, without vigilance, without holding on, the world will fall apart. But nature, especially the plant world, answered this question long ago. Plants do not need to be watched to photosynthesize. Roots do not need eyes to navigate dark soil. Seeds do not need attention to sleep for years and wake at the right time. Life does not need to be witnessed to exist. This is a very gentle yet powerful truth. In Jungian psychology, the ego believes it must stand guard, but the self, the whole center of being, operates deeper, slower, more steadily. Plants are like the self of the earth. They do not react hastily. They do not panic. They do not require constant direction. They know how to live. Tonight you do not need to remember biological processes. You do not need to retain information. You do not need to understand everything you heard. Sleep is not a test. It is permission. Permission for the brain to rest. Permission for the body to release. Permission for the unconscious to do its work. As your eyelids grow heavy outside, plants continue exchanging gases. Roots continue speaking with fungi. Water continues moving through wood. Carbon continues to be stored. Soil continues breathing. No noise, no tension, only steady rhythm. For a very long time, humans slept near plants in forests, by gardens under wooden roofs. Not by chance. The human unconscious recognizes where plants are. Life feels safer. No need to think further. No need to fix anything. No need to plan. If something is unfinished today, the world will wait. If something remains unresolved, it will still be there when you wake. Just as a tree does not grow overnight, not everything must be completed now. Darkness is where roots grow, seeds rest, cells repair, memory reorganizes. Jung called this the space of the healing unconscious. No conscious light required, no analysis needed, just stillness. You do not need to try to sleep, just as plants do not try to live. Simply create conditions, quieter, slower, gentler. Sleep will arrive like roots finding water. If your mind still wanders, remember this. You are not abandoned. You are supported by an order larger than you. That order existed before you and will remain after you. Tonight, plants will continue turning light into life, even when you do not see them. Roots will find their way in darkness, without instruction, and you may rest. Nothing more is required. Let your breath slow. Let your shoulders soften. Let thoughts dissolve like dew on leaves. You have done enough for today. Sleep as plants sleep in the night, without defense, without hurry, without needing to prove anything. Simply resting within the quiet, safe order of life. As this story gently closes, not to give you more to remember, but to allow you to set things down, we have walked slowly through the world of plants, beings that do not speak, do not run, do not demand attention, yet silently support all life on. this planet, plants do not live by urgency. They do not chase short-term goals. They are not obsessed with speed. They exist with deep trust in the order of the world. And that order is something you can lean on tonight. There is something very important. Plants always whisper, yet humans often forget. You do not need to stay awake for the world to continue. When you sleep, plants continue slow photosynthesis from remaining light. Roots continue searching in darkness. Fungi continue connecting distant systems. Air is filtered. Soil is held. Life arranges itself. No supervision needed, no worry required. Carl Jung emphasized that healing does not come from controlling everything, but from trusting that something larger than the ego is at work. Plants are living proof of that trust. You may be used to always thinking, always responding, always improving, always becoming something. But a plant does not become a plant by striving. It becomes a plant by resting within its structure. Tonight, you are allowed to do the same. No need to fix yourself. No need to judge whether today was enough. No need to carry questions into sleep. Sleep is not a place to solve. Sleep is a place to be held. In the human unconscious gardens, forests, rows of trees are always linked to safety. Not because they are predictable, but because they are steady. Trees do not pull up roots after one rainy day. They do not panic in one dark night. They do not doubt their worth because they have not yet flowered. They wait for the right rhythm. Perhaps what you need most right now is not an answer, but a slower rhythm. If something inside you still feels unsettled, let it be there. Like soil holding a seed, not forcing it to sprout. Not asking when it will grow. Just holding, just supporting, just enclosing. Jung called this the containing capacity of the unconscious. A space where unfinished things are allowed to exist without judgment. Sleep is that space. You do not need to sleep well. You do not need deep sleep immediately. You do not need to force full relaxation. You only need permission to rest. Just as plants do not shut down at night, they simply shift rhythm. If your mind still drifts gently, bring attention back to breath. Do not adjust. Do not interfere. Just notice. In-breath like roots drawing water. Out-breath like leaves releasing wind. Slow, even, natural. Outside the world may still be noisy. Tomorrow may still hold many tasks. Answers may not have arrived. But tonight, you do not need to carry all of that. You are allowed to trust that everything can pause here. And before this story fully closes, remember something very gentle. You do not need to shine to have value. You do not need to stay awake to be loved. You do not need to understand everything to rest. You only need to be still. Like a tree in the dark night, held by the earth, supported by natural order. May your sleep be as light as falling leaves, as deep as roots touching water, as safe as a seed in the soil. No hurry, no worry. No need to become anyone else. Good night.